What an absolute shocker. Pep Guardiola uses his subs for the first time in his entire managerial career. And guess what? We win the game. Difference makers on the pitch, and we are one step closer to getting this.
Kevin De Bruyne!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have just beaten Bournemouth by 2-1 at the Vitality Stadium. That is an absolutely amazing achievement. This is one of the results of the season by far. A bit of a topsy-turvy game in my opinion, and the reason is because of the form and the level of prowess that these two teams have shown since the start of the season. Bournemouth played like Manchester City. They started really well, and then they dulled down after scoring a goal. And Manchester City played like Bournemouth. Free-flowing football, attacking prowess, left, right, and center, beautiful passes into the opponent's final third. It was a bit of a weird one. I thought Justin Kluivert started really well. I thought Semenyo started really well, and then he just completely ghosted for the rest of the game. Bournemouth are missing Dean Huijsen, I can't pronounce his name. One of the signings, if not the signing of the season in my opinion, one of the best defenders in the league. And Couscous, one of the best left backs in the league. Soler, that left back, really impressed me. The high tenacity of this guy was exquisite. The ball movement of this guy and the combinations that he did with Semenyo were really dangerous right from the get-go. Amazing save by Kepa Arrizabalaga with that Erling Haaland penalty. I thought Tyler Adams was a bit, incredibly unlucky with the handball. It is unfortunately a penalty in this day and age. Jack Grealish got that penalty call from Manchester United with his hand raised up. You remember that? From, I think it was Bruno Fernandes, whoever had that ball against Manchester United. Then this was definitely a stonewall penalty. Bournemouth are absolutely a class side, and obviously everybody in the world was obviously rooting for Bournemouth to go through. Raiola is perhaps one of the best managers in the league right now. He is a exceptional tactician. Obviously, with high praise from Pep Guardiola, that should be saying enough. As far as Manchester City goes, the first thing I'm going to do is talk about our defense, and I'm going to do this as a triad first of all because these three players I have very similar opinions on, and I want to focus on the other two in separate segments. Abdulkadir Husanov, Ruben Diaz, and Ederson. I definitely think that neither of those three had an exceptional game today. I thought Ruben Diaz was solid for most of the game, but there were some mistakes and some horrible fouls that he was giving away. Abdulkadir Husanov, I thought he was incredibly tenacious right from the get-go. Really harsh foul on that trip with Semenyo. He wasn't even looking at the ball. He wasn't even looking at the challenge or anything. It was just a bit of unluck, and that yellow card was completely unjustified. A substitution was right in my opinion, and he should take that with a big stroke of confidence in my opinion because he's so critical and so pivotal in our team, especially for the last couple of months of this season, that we definitely need him for that semifinals. Josko Gvardiol, I loved Josko Gvardiol today. That first half might not be everybody's cup of tea, but there were some moments in the game that I, as a player myself, just look at that and just say, wow, that player is just absolutely stunning. Long pass from, I think it was Semenyo or Soler or Tyler Adams from that left-hand side all the way to their right-hand side and Gvardiol's left-hand side. And then Gvardiol just chests the ball down so beautifully, so effortlessly. That is such a difficult skill to master. And he just does his trademark turn with his left foot and just passes it off to İlkay Gündoğan. Josko Gvardiol today I thought was really good defensively. Just a tiny bit of positioning that he needs to work on in that first half. Other than that, I was really impressed with him. This guy is a sensationally talented football player. For years to come, he will be one of the best. Matheus Nunes, I loved Matheus Nunes today. Every football player makes mistakes. And you know what? As a player myself, I can appreciate a lot of things that go unseen. You look at these football rating apps, you look at highlights on social media, you're going to see him make a horrible pass that led to Evan Nielsen scoring a goal for Bournemouth. But regardless, this is a guy, ladies and gentlemen, as a center mid who has never played in his primary position as a professional football player with years of experience in that position for Manchester City. Pep Guardiola has played Matheus Nunes as a left wing, right wing. I've seen him play as a center back for a couple of moments in games, and he's playing as a right back. Yes, he did have a mistake. I'm not going to say a bozo moment like some of these other City influencers. I'm getting really sick and tired of them. I'm not going to name them, obviously, but he was running and bombarding down the wings. This guy was a workhorse on that right wing. Matheus Nunes, I was really, really happy with his performance after the mistakes, and he really, really impressed me with his work rate, his tenacity, and his aggressiveness. Matheus Nunes, take a bow, my friend. Kovacic and Gundogan, I honestly I have to be like honest with you guys. When I saw the lineup, I was like, Kovacic and Kovacic and Ilkay Gundogan, they're gonna run riot in our midfield. But Kovacic, I thought, was decent. Ilkay Gundogan had a lot of amazing moments. That sprint at the end with Jack Grealish. With Omar Marmoush. Bro, this guy's 34 years old, turning back the time I thought he was 17 again. Ilkay Gundogan, there was a play where Jack Grealish came onto the field, and Jack Grealish does his trademark ball control and ball movement so well. Just takes the time, assesses his options, gives a pass to Ilkay Gundogan, left-footed shot, hits the post. That was prime Manchester City, reminiscent of our treble-winning days. Ilkay Gundogan was taking shots. There was a moment where Erling Haaland chested the ball and just gave a little layoff to Ilkay Gundogan, left-footed shot. Kepa Arrizabalaga with a great save. Ilkay Gundogan was doing really, really well in our midfield today. Yes, there were some plays where other players like Semenyo and some of the younger players, people half his age, were just drifting past him. And yes, obviously he's an old man. I mean, I'm not gonna really get on him for that. That's not what he should be known for. His ball movement, his control, his tenacity of the game was exquisite. I was so happy with Ilkay Gundogan today. Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden didn't have the best of games. I honestly think that Kevin De Bruyne should just stop taking shots for a long while until he can get his shooting boots on. At the Etihad, you can take as many shots as you can, but in the FA Cup, and in quarterfinals, and in away stadiums, please do not keep taking shots. Obviously, if you're open and in right areas, yeah, obviously. But Phil Foden needs to be more direct. There was a moment where he had the ball and he drifted past like 2 or 3 Bournemouth players, and he shot the ball and he just completely went for it. It was reminiscent of his player of the season days from last season. The shot was a bit tame. Phil Foden did have a lot of moments where he just didn't get involved in the game, but that moment right there, it was very promising. Almost shed a tear because that's exactly what we all want from Phil Foden. Drift back in, take the ball, dribble past 2 or 3 players, just go at them and take a shot. This is what we want from Phil Foden. More of this going forward, please. Bernardo Silva did have some great moments, especially in that second half with some ball retention and keeping our flow and maintaining control of the game. That's what he's known for. That first half, he was absolutely woeful, in my opinion, just completely gets outstrengthed by every single player. And it was a bit frustrating seeing him not really go for it, process that he had with his weak foot, and I could appreciate that as a player myself. But regardless, Bernardo Silva needs to be benched more often. Why do we keep playing Bernardo Silva in these big games? Week in, week out. Put him, just like with Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish came on and was absolutely outstanding. I want Bernardo Silva to have a role like this, especially for next season. I don't want to see them start. I want them to come into the game and give us the control that we need to see games out. Rolling Braut Haaland, you miss a penalty, shrug it off, my friend. Just completely brush past. It's a penalty miss. I'm not going to really dwell on those too much. What I am more pissed about is that chance with that Bournemouth. I don't know who it was. I think what was this, a Barney? I have no idea. He just headed it back and it just gave Erling Haaland an easy one-on-one chance. And that was such a poor effort on goal. Great determination to get onto that Nico O'Reilly assist. Erling Haaland did have some great moments where he would get the ball and take the ball down with his chest, outstrength some opponents, do a little bit of hold-up play, and give it off to Foden, give it off to Bernardo Silva or anybody else running in. But regardless, I definitely think that Erling Haaland should have had at least 2 goals today. But that is still 30 goals for the season for Erling Haaland and for Manchester City in all competitions. That is still exquisite. That is the prime of 99.999% of all strikers in the world, and especially in the last 100 years. But for this guy, this is a shitty season for him. And last but not least, our man of the match, thoroughly deserving 2 assists today, Nico O'Reilly. And before I get into Nico O'Reilly, shout out to Omar Marmoush, who came in and just was absolutely stunning. Scored a goal with I believe his first touch. He was really, really good, Omar Marmoush. But for Nico O'Reilly, exquisite, man of the match when he came onto the field. You see that pass that De Bruyne gave to him? You see Nico O'Reilly charging. We need some younger legs in this team, especially over the summer. This is what the mentality of the club needs to be for the summer. Young players who give a damn about the badge, want to go for it and take players on and shoot the damn ball. Nico O'Reilly was stunning, but not only offensively, defensively. Semenyo, anybody, Christie on that right-hand side, Cook on that right-hand side, they had nothing on Nico O'Reilly. This guy was winning standing tackles against Semenyo and Christie. This guy was doing some great interceptions, especially in the midfield. Nico O'Reilly is sensational. He is not a generational talent right now. I want to stop with that bullshit because y'all said that about Phil Foden, and look at him now. Relax. Let's back our players in the right way. Nico O'Reilly is one for the future. I am so excited for this boy. Well, thank you all so much for watching. We are going to the semifinals against Nottingham Forest. I will see you all next time.